It's no time like the present when we saw some new things enter our actual world. While nature recounts nothing new, as large as it very well might be, it's dependent upon man to permit inconceivability to drop the prefix. Science has presented to us a wide range of fixes and advancements that would have made anybody from over a century prior's head detonate at the idea. Disclosed text informing somebody who depends on the Pony Express for quick correspondence. We are continually being acquainted with fabulous gadgets, normally after the military's gotten bounty exhausted from simply dawdling with them, practically on an every-decade premise. Recollect the marvel of microwave innovation or when the iPod slaughtered CDs. We've not been astonished and had our psyches lit up with bewilderment in a decent while. So introduced here are the best 10 futurist innovations we ought to have at this point, or possibly beautiful damn soon. You can unfortunately repackage the iPod or Xbox a limited number of times. Time machines. As found in the Back to the Future establishment, The Time Machine, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, The Twilight Zone, Terminator, Planet of the Apes, Time Bandits, Donnie Darko, Click, Futurama and innumerable different kids shows. On the off chance that you could return or advance on schedule, when might you go? Maybe to Jesus times to check whether he truly worked supernatural occurrences. Or to pre-World War II Germany to kill Hitler. Or even when the content for Hot Tub Time Machine was being drafted so you could toss the screenwriter's MacBook into a block facade. Time travel would make the way for 1 million prospects, yet there's consistently the danger of shocking catch-22s, modifying the present for the more awful. Also, contingent upon your School of Time Travel physical science, the past is considered, at any rate by H.G. Wells, to be unalterable, as specific occasions are inescapable, for example passing and different powers of nature. Regardless of whether we could have or build up the way to withstand the devastating power of a wormhole, an alternate route through the universe's space-time continuum, for what reason would we need to hazard the perhaps unspeakable results? Results which have been theorized upon to no hypothetical end in mainstream society. How about we simply keep our eyes looking ahead? 9. Repulsive force. As seen in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. For what reason should space travelers be the lone ones equipped for weightlessness? This is a chance genuinely being retained from us. Envision the very big bone knot, at this point restricted to adjusted clinic carts, and ready to stroll without requiring supports and walkers, albeit the cup holders are a decent motivator. It shouldn't be blamed so as to be undesirable, however the knee joint issue would be devastated, best case scenario. Besides, it'd be enjoyable to drift around the house like an apparition, or climb floors of a shopping center without the requirement for elevators. Be it in Wonka soda pop structure or a major red catch that promptly allows you to stroll on the roof. How about we witness this? NASA's not doing much else in any case. 3D image TVs. As found in Star Wars, Back to the Future 2, Minority Report, inclusion of the 2008 official decisions. We as of now have Sans Glasses 3D, which is about the nearest you can get to a 3D image without it being projected from a bleeping blue and silver robot. However, it's not exactly the equivalent. A visualization consumes space and can reenact reality without impacting it. 3D just works a solitary way, barely out and in your face. The thing that matters is you ought to have the option to watch an activity film and have life-sized clear champions circle you as though you were important for the battle. The way things are, we can just watch that battle from inside a virtual cupboard. 7. Food particlizers. As found in the Star Trek establishment. Tossing to the breeze logical laws which direct that matter can't be made nor obliterated. These unthinkably helpful gadgets could duplicate or combine any kind of food put away in its information base like it was simply copying a CD. There were a couple of unwritten special cases, for example, the way that living creatures and certain significant minerals and materials couldn't be delivered out of nowhere. Yet who cares? This virtual cornucopia would be the supreme finish of world craving. Thus, no longer would we be presented to ads of miserable youngsters in underdeveloped nations asking for only 3 pennies per day. The world would be fat on computerized groceries. 6. Laser weapons. As seen in basically every science fiction film, TV show, radio program ever, a slug can unfortunately do a limited amount of a lot. Later on everything is impenetrable, yet a laser, for example, as a lightsaber, can slice through a foot-thick steel entryway like margarine. In a universe of monstrous unchecked material utilization, extraordinary advantages could come about because of bridling the ruinous properties of light instead of mass-creating iron for the sole motivation behind changing it over to shrapnel. The military spending plan could even extricate a few scores on its belt, something that would incredibly relieve this ruthless financial environment. Lasers may very well be what this country needs to recover financially, and also when mechanical repo men in the end choose adequately sufficient. 5. Android robots. As found in Star Wars, Star Trek, The Next Generation, Lost in Space, Blade Runner, RoboCop, Terminator, Bicentennial Man, The Stepford Wives. Robots as of now do a horde of things men can't. They mass-produce buyer items, guarantee security, do a medical procedure with total exactness, and engage us continually. Additionally, they vacuum for us a la Rosie from the Jetsons. Yet, they don't exactly associate with us when we get forlorn. Geordi from Moon or Kit from Knight Rider, or take a stab at human feelings. Data from Star Trek, TNG, or in any case remain in where another human doesn't end up existing. Robots don't need food or cash or whatever else that makes people frail and delicate, just an intermittent programming redesign and power charge. We are passing up development potential altogether territories by not making this need number one in mainstream researchers. 4. Teleportation. As found in The Jetsons, The Fly, Stargate, Star Trek. In the event that Jeff Goldblum showed us anything, other than how to make despondency sound hot, it's that teleportation is a hazardous activity. In any event, it is on the off chance that you are transporting via reparticlization and between two bound spaces. I get that the 80s science fiction flick is a revamp, however his presentation is generally effective as fly hairs on a shoulder bone. His character failed to work out every one of the wrinkles and notice all potential wellsprings of blunder. For one, there are plenty of infinitesimal particles in some random space, so how is it possible that they would be isolated from any relating to man when separated and realigned? Likewise, flies and bugs are the most bountiful pollution factor in any sterile setting. Something discloses to me he wasn't the most mindful understudy in clinical school. The Star Trek teleporter, then again, has never had an issue. That is in the event that you don't tally the chance of incidentally moving a tribble ready, or contributing some unacceptable directions. However, that'd be more the deficiency of a thoughtless Scotty than the first fashioner. It needs not be said how totally non-existent an issue like traffic or lateness would turn out to be. Again, business proficiency demands the development of something more functional than a moving contamination industrial facility that goes more slowly than the speed of light. 3. Intangibility. As seen in Harry Potter, The Invisible Man, Predator, Reality. While military testing has brought about the nearest thing to an intangibility shroud not caught in mind-blowing fiction, shrouds which house the possibility to conceal tanks, bases and officers from adversary GPS beacons, they aren't exactly transparent, or accessible in stores. Imperceptible, in these military terms, just methods great cover. In H.G. Wells' Invisible Man, an elixir that refracts light such that makes the customer totally glass sheet clearly permits the hero the capacity to travel unseen and unsuspected. While the allurements that accompany such a force are boundless, and generally nothing but bad, it appears to be the only reasonable reason the attribute of clear might actually have is during wartime. In any case, it's simply an unwanted voyeur superpower. 2. Flying cars. As found in The Jetsons, Star Wars, Back to the Future 2, Blade Runner, The Fifth Element, reality. The throughways are excessively packed. That is the reason we need to fire opening up the skies for traffic. Planes never experience traffic, and fly higher than any elevation a standard traveler would like, however are, up until now, the quickest method to get around. The disadvantage is that this directed wear expects explorers to oblige exceptionally inflexible timetables. Envision shopper air travel consistently, instead of only sometimes for business and excursions. Excursions would be massively more possible and would permit individuals who would prefer not take in others' sniffles to do precisely that. Flying vehicles implies no shouting children, except if you own one. Obviously, the disadvantage is that everybody and their huge others would have a sky vehicle and at last figure out how to stop up the skies, giving up you to be put that crazy charlatan in the flying Hummer hoarding every one of the mists. 1. Individual jetpacks. As seen on James Bond in Thunderbolt, Boba Fett in the Star Wars establishment, the computer game Pilot Wings for Nintendo 64, Iron Man, exploratory military workforce, rich erraticism. It's no time like the present when we had jetpacks. This has been the clamor of each futurist since we understood they looked so magnificent. There's even a band called We Were Promised Jetpacks. The military hasn't appeared to have the option to track down a decent use for them, past a fuel-squandering curiosity, and they aren't accustomed to getting criminals, a la the thought police in Minority Report. They would clip the lace on singular limitation, all.